This is going to be an Aloha themed video. I understand that there's going to be yet another Aloha from Hawaii release later in the year, but in this video we're going to be focusing on a couple of Japanese Aloha related albums from the 1970s, and later on I'm going to be asking for your help in a little project. So stick around for that if you don't mind. A while back I did a video on the first issue of Aloha from Hawaii in Japan, which came out in January 1973, just a few days after the concert came out. This one is from February 1973, this particular copy. If you do have a copy of this album and it didn't come with the lyric sheet, then don't be surprised, because initially they didn't. And by February 1973, RCA had actually printed up lyric sheets looking like that, and they started distributing them to the shops that had sold copies in January, and at least one shop was actually offering to give this away to people who had already bought the album the previous month. I bought this particular copy for another insert that came with it, and this is only the second one I've ever seen of this particular insert, so I was looking out for this for quite a while and I finally got it now. This is that insert. You can see there it's got a shot from Aloha, it's got RCA records and tapes down here, and the Japanese text at the top. The larger text there says Elvis in Hawaii, which was the Japanese title for this release. On the back there's another photo from the concert, and on the right it's got a list of 20 albums that had been reissued at the time. They all came with a free poster, and I did a video about that series a long time ago. And in this corner here you can see the logo of the shop, or the name of the shop that gave away this insert. It's called Shinseido. That shop is still going, or the company's still going, but they've been closing 2 or 3 shops recently, so I guess they're struggling like any other music shop. And on the inside it's actually a 4-page fold out thing, and on the inside you get a couple of shots also from Aloha, and they were taken by Kei Kazama, a Japanese person. Don't know his first name. So yeah, that's why I got this one. Very rare insert from a store. So before the concert, Elvis gave a couple of press conferences back in 1972. The last one being November in Hawaii, November the 20th, 1972. And I mention that because a picture from that press conference ended up on the front cover of a Japanese album. This one here, Gold 30. That photo was actually taken by a Japanese guy at the press conference. A viewer recently asked me about this album, Gold 30, so I thought I'd include it in this video. This is actually the second version of the album. It initially came out in 1973, late 1973. And it came with it's a beautiful package with a thick booklet, 52 pages, I think. Very, very nice booklet. This is the second version. It's not quite as good as the first one, at least the packaging isn't, although it's considerably harder to find than the first one. The original promotional literature, the flyer for the album, said that Elvis himself chose the songs for this set for his Japanese fans. I'm a little bit skeptical about that myself, as I'll explain in a moment, but that's what the claim was. So if you open up the cover, there's a photo on the left and all the track listings. Then Japanese sleeve notes. So this booklet has far fewer pages than the one that came with the first issue. You've got track by track notes there in Japanese, and then the song titles at the bottom. Mainly 50 songs on disc 1, and then it goes into the big early 60s hits. And then on disc 2 it goes into the later 60s, all the way up to Fool at the end of side 2. Now I don't think, had Elvis been choosing songs for a 30-track compilation, I don't think he would have included Giant Blues, but certainly not Do the Clam, as being representative of his best work. However, both songs are on this album. They were also big hits in Japan, so as I say, I'm very skeptical about this idea that Elvis chose the songs. Still, nice compilation to get if you can find it. This is a harder one to find than the first one. In fact, they reissued it again in 1975, maybe later, in the first cover all over again. And I actually bought that one myself in England. It must have been in the early 1980s. I was blown away by the cover. So this originally would have had an obi, and it came with what they call a cap obi, which fit over the top there. I'll just show you another example of a cap obi, because CBS Sony had been using the cap obis for a few years before RCA experimented with them. So you can see it sits along the top there, and then you've got more information on the back, although you still have to turn it on its side to read it from top to bottom, which kind of defeats the object of it. Anyway, so the Elvis obi, on the back side there, as I'll show you, it actually had all the other releases in this same series. So this was actually part of a series, and it kind of explains why. If you look at the other releases on the back of the obi, it explains why they've used this close-up shot. I mean, Elvis was a good-looking guy, but they very rarely released album covers with such a close-up. But all the albums in the series were like that. So you can see that you've got Neil Sedaka, you've got Paul Anka, and then at the bottom there you've got James Dean's Greatest Hits and The Best of Clint Eastwood. So sticking with the November 1972 press conference in Hawaii, I'd like to ask your help in transcribing this particular press conference. It's quite hard to hear because there was a lot of background noise in certain parts of the press conference. But anyway, I'm going to play you a little bit of the press conference and see if you can hear what Elvis is being asked. And yeah, so just take a listen to this.
One of the things that highlights the conference is one of the churches. What's this meeting and how many of you do it? Not enough. It's just part of the show, and I try to throw it to one person, and usually winds up with 8 people pulling at it.
So I can hear 4 different things going on there. First of all, somebody asks, one of the things that blah 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 your concerts. He's asking a question, and I can't hear what the question is. And then somebody seems to say, you need a license or something like that. And then somebody else seems to say, does it hurt or something like that. And then Elvis starts talking about the scarves, how he would throw out a scarf into the audience, and I think he says, you know, eight people start pulling at it. Initially, Elvis says not enough. So I don't know what he's referring to there when he says not enough. So basically, I need to know what the question is, the one that begins one of the things that. I want to know what the 2 people are saying in the background about a license. It sounds like you need a license. And then does it hurt? Something like that. Up until Elvis says not enough. After that, I'm okay. I can hear what's going on after that. So if you can tell me what you can hear there, that'd be very much appreciated. Okay, I think that's it for this video. If you have any comments, well, certainly if you've got any comments about that press conference transcription, please let me know. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care. Cheers.
One of the things that highlights the conference is one of the churches. What's this meeting and how many of you do it? Not enough. It's just part of the show, and I try to throw it to one person, and usually winds up with 8 people pulling at it.